So, and if you can also like check out on Facebook and see if you got, see if you're seeing that. What's going on, everybody? I'm gonna give it about one more minute. What's going on, everybody? I'm muting my phone so I'm not getting double blasted. I'm gonna give it about one more minute. Let everybody file in. And honestly, if anybody's got any questions straight out of the gate, I'll on the Facebook post, there's a link. Click on that link so that I can see who's commenting. Helps us answer these questions. But yeah, if anybody does have questions straight out of the gate, go ahead and start filing them in. And we've got about 20, 30 minutes where my guest Michelle and I are going to just go back and forth on how she got here, struggles that she's had to overcome, some misconceptions that she had at the beginning and whatnot. And after we get done with that portion, we're going straight into Q&A. So, all right, I think that's about enough time. So, welcome everybody. Definitely appreciate everybody showing up today. This is something I've been meaning to do for quite a while now. We just we've been very busy, and marketing is kind of my not my strong suit. So today I have with me one of our top selling merchants, Michelle. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in now. Let me. And come on in. Let's see what we got here. Oh, because I got my solo on. There we go. How you doing, Michelle?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for coming on today. So Michelle, I'm gonna do a little bit of bragging on you. And obviously it was in the Facebook post, and I've been ranting about it all over the place. I looked at your sales, and your first sale came in like September 12th, I believe, with My Easy Monogram. And if I'm not mistaken, between September 12th and now, which is less than 2 months, you've done over 80,000 in revenue.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I haven't checked the
it's a little bit
numbers.
over, but that's as exact as it needs to be for the case. But what got you on with metal art in the first place?
So I actually ended up selling metal art inadvertently through. I have a candle business. My daughter and we make candles, and I was selling them locally. We're in some local stores, and we've done a little bit of online sales, but not a whole lot, mostly through like local events and such. And I wanted to really tap into the online market, and I took an online course to learn how to do that.
Okay.
And to be fair, I didn't start out with metal art. I honestly had no clue what I was going to do. The course kind of really opened my eyes to this whole world out here of e-commerce. And so, I started testing a few different things, and ended up in the metal art niche, and here I am.
Well, okay, so I'm going to dive in pretty deep on something straight out the gate. And because you and I had talked about this earlier, and this is something that that I see a lot of merchants when they come in and they start trying to sell metal art or any of our products or anybody's products, period. They always come in saying, "Oh, I played baseball in high school. I could sell the crap out of some baseball stuff. I'm going to make a baseball website, and I'm going to theme it baseball, and I'm going to call it baseballsomething.com, and I'm going to sell a bunch of baseball stuff." But from my understanding, that was not your approach whatsoever. And I think it's really powerful that we speak on that, because so many people put effort into things that don't quite matter yet. Don't try to sell something until you know what is selling, and then start niching down. So do you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I actually, my last couple businesses that I started, that was one of the first things that I really focused on was my branding, because I was, creating a very specific business, and, I had a plan with that. So I did focus on the logo and the branding and all that kind of stuff with those businesses. But then when I got into e-commerce, I learned really quickly that was the last thing I should be focusing on, because, so much that goes into it, that, data research, and testing before you really know what you want to be involved in. And so for me, like I said, I didn't start in metal art. So my focus was to have kind of a broad site. I created my logo on Canva, and I'm still using the same logo that I created in 10 minutes, if that. So I've probably tweaked it a few times here and there, but it's pretty much the same thing that I've been running the whole time. It's very simple. It's very basic. And I think we touched on this before. I had a friend of mine who's really good at all that stuff, and he wanted to help me and create all this fancy stuff. I'm like, no, that's not the focus. And so, main focus was on, I learned through the course that I took that, it should be on data and research and testing. And so once I had something, that started working, I started putting my focus into that area.
Well, so, per our previous conversation, something that we really circled around a lot was when somebody, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are more seasoned, but I want to make sure that we're covering across the board. If you're just now starting to sell online, and you're just now getting on Shopify, my mom's doing this herself, and she's very hard-headed, so she doesn't listen to me when I say everything I'm about to say. But you're doing extremely well for being so new to the platform. Your store is a basic, unmodified Dawn theme. Your product images are not made up, mock up. They are straight from what was imported. Now, the ads that you're running, you're using mock-ups for those, but mom's listening. So she heard me comment. But you didn't spend a lot of time where I see a lot of people spending their time, which is making the color palette, doing all this market research on, okay, well, why does Amazon make the buy button orange, and why? I mean, just all of these things. Sure, they matter, but they matter when you've got macro data to look at. When you can see across tens of thousands of customers how things changed when I went from blue to green, not immediately straight out of the gate. And so I just really wanted to hit that home for anybody who's coming in and starting to sell, even if it's not my products. Stop worrying about anything that's not driving that first dollar. And things that you care about, your branding, how your website looks, a lot of that's just vanity. That's so that if your friends go on the website, they see this really pretty polished, like you feel proud to show your friends your website, but that's not going to generate you any revenue. So where should they be spending that time?
One of the biggest things that I learned through the course, I'm part of the econ family, and I learned a lot through there. And honestly, I was stubborn in the beginning. I was, in a sense that, not to the extreme of what you're saying, but I wanted to create my ads the way I thought that people would like them, because the way I like them to look and things like that. And so I struggled, with my first couple of products. I had, sales pretty quickly, but it wasn't anything worth scaling. And so I learned very quickly that I needed to take myself out of it, because that's what it was drilled into me, that it's not about you. It's about the customer and the experience. And so I learned that I needed to just do the research. So when it comes to designing the website, my website didn't take me very long at all. Now, I built websites before, but Shopify makes it super easy to build a site. So it was very basic. Like you said, it's the Dawn theme. The one thing I did do was I made sure that it is very functional, because, functionality is key. Speed. If you don't have a functional website, customer, or something that's just not aesthetically pleasing at all, that can affect your sales, of course. So I did the research. I went to the comps. I looked at what other sites are doing, what's working for them as far as like the general layout and general colors, I guess you could say. I chose them myself, but I didn't do anything crazy. And same thing with the ads. You should be researching your comps and, what is out there trending, what's bringing people in right now, what's making people want to click those ads and want to buy that product, and base your ads and your designs around what people want to buy, essentially.
So what would you do if you were coming in fresh to My Easy Monogram and you're wanting to do that research, so we've already established that we don't care necessarily what our website looks like. We care that it's functional and that it's clean. There's no clutter, because clutter is friction. You want to remove all the clutter, remove all the friction. So we don't care about that. We also don't care about what products we sell. We don't care if it's this, horse design or this dancing design or this couples design. How do you figure out what products you need to be putting on? How do you do that market research without looking at sales data after the fact?
Well, the way that, I did it was I went online, Google, Etsy, Facebook, TikTok, just find what people are interested in, see what
by finding your competition and looking at their top sellers, right?
Exactly. But as far as once I did, start to, have ads running and I started getting sales, I actually, believe it or not, learned very quickly what was going to sell more than others. So with the metal art, for example, I started with one specific product and I sold a couple of those, but then I started selling other products. So what I would do is when I would start to see that I'm getting sales for other specific products through My Easy Monogram, I go and I create an ad for that product that I'm getting random sales on for people that are coming to my store from an ad that was for something totally different. And I just keep testing and in whatever sells.
Yeah. Well, so how much are you surprised at how much of your job is more data analytics than anything else? I mean, a lot of people that I know, when they go to test ads, they're like, yeah, I'll do this one. It's like, 20-year-old to 40-year-old. And then they'll just like randomly, they'll change 8 things about an ad set and be like, well, I'm not getting any discernible information from this. What surprised me back 4 or 5 years ago when I started selling or started buying ads was how you're going to have hundreds of ad sets where just one thing is different between all of them, and you're literally you're concocting this experiment and figuring out, okay, what happens if I just tweak it just a little bit? And it was so much more analytical than I thought. It was all creative, TikTok dancing, attracting, getting people's eyes on it, and that's great for when you've got their eyes on it, but it doesn't really matter on the media buying side of things.
No, it's actually the opposite. And from, all the experts that I hear from, you don't want to have all those things, because then you're just attracting unqualified traffic. You're not going to be in the buyers that are actually going to buy your product.
Which ends up where you're getting a lot of eyes on it, but you're not getting a lot of engagement, or you're getting a lot of people to the site, but not a lot of add to carts. And there's a lot of little systemic problems that people don't understand what that should be identifying for them.
Yep, absolutely. My biggest thing has been doing the research initially. This is what I was taught and it was drilled into me and it works. So, that's what I've kept doing. Is to, do the research. Then once you start, running your ads based on your research, then you analyze your data, because, initially, there's a lot of people who think because they launch an ad on TikTok or on Facebook or wherever that they're instantly going to get sales. And if they don't get a sale, they're disappointed and, oh, this platform doesn't work. But that's not how it works. Initially, when you're first starting to launch something, you're testing and you're not really looking for a sale. You're buying data so that you can then take that data, analyze it, and implement it so that you can start to get sales. But there's obviously different metrics that you analyze your data and know if it's worth pursuing without sales. But yeah, that's kind of
and what you just said there, I want to circle back for anybody that's not aware of the intricacy of what you just discussed. Like, you're pushing ads to buy the data, knowing different methods of pushing the ads for different dollar amounts, for different UGC versus this, just all of that stuff. That's weeks or months worth of learning. And so I also want to really just instill in anybody who's fresh in this, like this is a marathon, not a race. Like you could be a one-hit wonder and just do this one thing and it just happened to take off like wildfire. But the only people that we see that are doing consistently high numbers are working at it, and they're working at it 3-4 plus hours a day. You know, like this isn't something that you can just throw something together and try to post some TikTok videos on your account and hope that organic traction is going to do anything for you. Because I've actually got a friend who, you know, for whatever reason thought he could just go viral on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, well, that just doesn't it. You can't just do that. I mean, if you could just do that, then everybody would be doing that. And so I've got Cameron who asked, what kind of ad budget to use on Facebook ads. Is that something that you're okay disclosing?
Well, to be honest with you, the majority of my sales are actually TikTok.
Okay. So with the majority of your sales coming from TikTok, I assume that you are also doing Facebook, but they're just not as affordable as TikTok.
Yeah. So yeah, we've talked about this before. Obviously, you know, with the iOS update, it's made it a lot more difficult and challenging to, you know, to target on Facebook effectively, you know, with the lower marketing costs. I found that while I am getting sales through Facebook, my margins are a lot higher in TikTok. It's a lot more effective. You're able to, in my opinion, kind of control it a little bit more. And there's, you know, very effective methods that you can use to, you know, consistently get sales. So I really like the TikTok platform. It's working really well for me. So I've continued to use it.
And he also asked, are they all video ads that you're doing?
Does he mean UGC ads?
I mean, so I know that you can do like kind of like the static or like the like fading images and whatnot, like things that are more like, even though like it is a video platform, it's kind of more of like a picture in video. And Cameron, if you want to elaborate on that, I believe that's what you're getting at. So are you dancing for all your ads, or are, you know?
No. In general, UGC ads are the most effective ads on any social media platform. Well, not necessarily TikTok, I should say. I should just stick to TikTok. In general, TikTok most effective with UGC ads. I have had, in the other form, so I guess I should probably clarify the difference between UGC and slideshow. So a UGC ad is going to be something where there's more of a human element to it, like it's a video. It doesn't have to have a person in it, but like maybe a hand or, you know, something that's like a live video.
Something in somebody's house on a wall, but like a moving thing.
It's user-generated content. So you're literally creating it with your own camera. Where a slideshow, it's still going to be a video on TikTok, but it's going to be like what you're saying, the photos that will, you know.
Pan over the screen, fade in, fade out, all that.
Words, whatnot. I've actually, all mine have been slideshow. All of my sales have been slideshow. I've actually been, you know, we've talked about it. I plan on doing some UGC. I just haven't done it yet. But my slideshows have been working really well. But I will be doing UGCs as well.
Well, and so once you've gotten to the point, you're probably getting to the point now, you know, having been about 2 months in, to where you can start utilizing your email list. Is that something that you've already got a plan in place, or because I feel like most of our merchants neglect the email list, and once the ball gets rolling, your email list is going to be like 30-40% of your revenue. I mean, it can kind of make or break a company, especially when, you know, Apple and Facebook start fighting each other.
No, it's huge, actually. In the beginning, I always had my abandoned cart emails and stuff like that, like just the basic templates that, you know, you get through Shopify. I had those set up, and they were working okay. But, you know, I had a little bit of marketing background before I got into this totally different world, but I know there's certain things that are more effective. So I was doing some like manual here and there, and they were working really well when I would do them. But of course, I don't have the time to consistently do that. So I ended up, I was using a free program at first. And then I ended up just going ahead and paying for the a better program because it's more effective.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, I have, there's all different kinds of flows you can have set up. I'm starting to learn how to delegate, because that's one of my biggest struggles. Is I'm like the one that, I feel like I have to do everything myself. But, I've also learned, again, through the ecom family that, I can't do it all. I'm only one person. And so I started outsourcing some things. I've hired people through Fiverr to do various tasks. But one of those things was getting, good templates set up, because I knew I needed really good ones, and, I haven't had the time. And so they put a whole plan together with, they set the flows up for me. And then now they put together the different campaigns for, the different holidays and newsletters and things like that coming up.
How ballpark, how much does something like that cost? That's something I've thought about doing myself. I mean, is this $10,000 for somebody to come and do this, or are you paying them ad hoc, $100 here kind of?
Yeah, no, it's actually extremely affordable. And honestly, I was kicking myself because I have to sit down and do the numbers, but I mean, it beyond paid for itself within the first week, so I was actually upset with myself for not doing it sooner. But no, I mean, you can go on there and see, there's all different, options that you can get. You can do, like, I think mine was like, I don't know, maybe $150, for the initial setup. Mm-hmm. And then they also have like a plan where they'll monitor it for you monthly, your flows and your campaigns. So it's extremely affordable. And once you have, like your point, once you have that customer base, it beyond pays for itself. And honestly, it's quite silly. Don't be like me and wait, like, do it up front once you have, hundreds or, thousands of customers.
Well, I mean, I would venture to say that, once you have 100 emails on your list, it's then worth the time to go ahead and start doing something about it. Because I would hate for a merchant to assume based off of that they have to have 1,000 customers to be at the point to where they're ready to start utilizing that. But with the email, I mean, it's there's services out there like $50 a month for the platform, for the email platform, or maybe 70, whatever it is. It's not that bad. I mean, you get 2 or 3 sales off it, and it covers that cost for that month. But once you set it up, it's there. And I mean, we had times where we didn't touch our campaigns for months, and it was just sitting there generating revenue. Every time somebody comes in, it goes through a flow. And I mean, just like you're saying with the abandoned carts and upsells and all that kind of stuff. So I also kind of want to pivot now. We've talked about a lot about your website setup and whatnot. But I was pulling the data earlier today, and I shared that with you on like the breakdown of products and like what actually is selling right now, just to kind of give everybody a little bit of clarity. So I want to go ahead and share that real quick. I pulled the data for all of My Easy Monogram, all products that have ever sold through My Easy Monogram, broken down by size and by color, and extracted the percentages of that. So let's pull that up real quick. And really want to break this down, because this is, I mean, the first thing that should stand out to everybody: color. For My Easy Monogram, color was 90% of everything ordered was matte black. 90% of everything that was ordered was matte black. Less than 1% was white or gold. And then, Michelle, your store's got a little bit more diversity, which is interesting to me. But as a percentage, you're actually at 80% black, and then you've got people kind of scattered across. Then looking over at the sizes, what are you doing to make people buy the big stuff?
Yeah, I was actually, I found that data very interesting when you sent it to me, because I'm actually not doing anything to make people choose what they're choosing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hold on just a second. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
I can, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, no, I'm not sure what the problem was. But so we, looking at the your pricing, like, your global pricing was set for all colors and all variants. It's not like you're making the larger signs less expensive, proportionally than your smaller signs. You're not doing anything crazy like that. What I think it seems to be is just your demographic. You seem to found the right demographic that has money, because that also explains a lot on the color side. Even though we don't charge more by color, it seems to me, my again, this isn't necessarily backed up by data, but my perception is the people who are buying these other colors have kind of niche homes that need that copper or need that silver, and where matte black, which is just universal, just wouldn't work for my bougie house. So I don't know if that's necessarily what's going on there, but definitely props to you for that. But mainly, I just wanted to show this to everybody. The majority of everything that's selling is black. 15-inch size is definitely the most for My Easy Monogram across the board, and then it's just a steady step down from 18, 24, and 30. So I'm sure that's information that some people have wanted to see, and I just wanted to pass that in there. So see, we've got about 3 more minutes before we officially open up as the Q&A. Is there any little nugget of wisdom that you'd love to drop on everybody?
Honestly, I think
sauce, right?
Well, yeah. I think, kind of to your point, the biggest thing is to know how to prioritize. Honestly, that's something that I still work on every single day, because there's so many things that run through my mind and ideas and all these things I want to do, and I always have to kind of reel myself in and prioritize it by what makes the most sense. What's gonna bring in revenue the quickest. Where should I be focusing my energy on?
Right.
So I think that's kind of the key when you're starting in the beginning, is not to put too much of your effort and energy into things that don't matter. And the key is to take yourself out of the equation. Don't think that something should be the way it should be, or you should sell what you think you should sell just because it's your preference. Go off the data. And that's for, the ads as well. Okay.
And, a little phrase that I'm going to try to coin as my own is, of course, it blanks my mind as soon as I say that. So I'm just not going to have a coined phrase. When you've got the branding, I'm trying to, what are specifically the items that to you don't matter, or I'm sorry, that do matter when you're getting into, like we say, don't focus on the things that don't matter. What are the things that do matter? Like you're going to get in there and you're going to put products on your website. You're going to start ads, but you get where I'm going with that? Like what is kind of the sequence of things that should matter to somebody?
Yeah, so I mean, it should, the research, the data, number one, making sure that you're seeing what your competitors are doing, what's working, what people are buying, what's trending, determining, what you're selling. We haven't got into this, but there's evergreen niches, there's, holidays, there's, so those are going to be, different times of year. You're going to have different trends for different types of products. But, ultimately doing the research for, the products that you're selling, and, how you're creating your ads to actually sell them, and, having a functional website. That is important.
So we've got the question again, what kind of advertising do you do? And if I'm not mistaken, at this point right now, it's almost primarily TikTok. with email sprinkled in.
Yeah, and there's a little Facebook, but primarily it's TikTok and, like you said, the email campaign.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to slide into just general Q&A. If anybody does have questions, please comment those now. We've, technically got 30 minutes left. And Michelle, obviously, thank you for being here. We got a lot of thank yous coming in from everybody. But I wanted to throw all this together because we are right in the heat of Q4. There is no better time of the year for people to start selling. Of course, we hope everybody stays in January and continues to build the brand, because that's something I think a lot of people don't put enough focus into, is that once you actually start building that customer list, and January comes around and people start to, people stop buying for Christmas and whatnot, people will just hang up their site and be like, oh, well, I'll come back in September. But you're having to reinvent the whole wheel, and they don't curate and build the brand. So, I got one question coming in. Thanks for the DM help. You listed the entire MEM catalog, or did you cherry pick?
So when I first transferred over to the site, I transferred ones that, based on my research, what was going to be selling, what I thought was going to sell the most. And over time, I slowly, because I wanted to have different catalogs in there, so I would, bring in different products. And then, to be completely honest with you, I've actually had specific requests from customers who have, reached out and said, hey, do you have this specific type of sign? And then I'm going, oh my gosh, MEM has that. I need to go over there. And then I'm, pushing it over into the store and getting it set up, and then, setting up a whole, catalog for that, type of product. But yeah, so it's, just research. And then, when people start coming to your site, you'll kind of see what's selling.
Well, so if you did import the whole catalog, and I'm not sure if you answered that, did you import just everything across the board, or do you basically have the whole catalog now, or do you take things off over time, or have you started that process yet?
I don't have the entire catalog in there. No, I do have a lot because I with the holidays coming up, like I said, I wanted to have different catalogs for different categories. So I haven't started removing any yet, and I'm about it because it is a lot when you go to like the all category. Mm-hmm. But with the holidays, I wanted to kind of test it out first and kind of see how it goes coming into Q.
Right.
And I may make some. I'm big on testing. We're actually taught this in the course. Test, because that's how you learn what's working and what's not working. So I'll probably test some different things out. I might even put some things in the draft just so that they're not taken off completely, and see how it works.
Okay. And when we were talking earlier, I had mentioned that you're running people. Are you running them straight to the category, or are you running them straight to the product page, or are you running them to landing pages? How are you funneling those people in to buy the product?
So a couple different. I test. I test like I really do. But
I guess what seems to be working well. That's all these people want.
So what's funny is sometimes one thing works really well for a little bit, and then I'll kind of notice that it's not working quite as well. So I'll start testing, some other things, and it sometimes it teeter-totters. But I've had great success with collection pages as well as direct links. When I've done the collection pages, that's kind of then I've found out more about the other products that people are interested in because it's not going straight to that page.
Right.
Sometimes I think people don't want to have to click and click again. So the direct link can work really well also. So I think it's just testing your target market, whatever you're targeting.
So possibly, if I'm hearing any kind of a strategy there, it would be that if you're starting ads, possibly start your ads going to collections of like 20 products, and then see what's popping from those ads, and then run targeted ads to the product that did well in the collection. Is that an approach, or is that counterintuitive?
I think it really just comes down to testing. Like for me, I tested both. I started in the very beginning. I was testing both the collection link and the direct link.
You were sending straight to product, basically cold without data.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, no data that I had paid for, but I did my research, and I went out and I collected my own data. So I wasn't just flying blind. I had some knowledge put into it, but I started doing my own ads. Then I was able to target people in another direction with the sales that I was getting for things that I wasn't marketing.
All right. Well, so I'm not seeing any questions come through. I'm going to check the Facebook page and make sure that is the case. And Michelle, while I'm doing that, we had mentioned that you're actually looking to start up your own coaching, and obviously you're very busy, so you're wanting to keep it tight. If there's anybody that wants to work directly with you, for everybody that's listening to this, we went and we set up a landing page where you can apply to work with her. There is some criteria. She's very busy, and I don't want her spending so much time teaching people that she's not selling my products. So definitely want to, make sure that, if you're needing help, it's definitely not free, because this is a lot of valuable knowledge, and you spent a lot of money on ads to get this knowledge. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop that link now in the comment section. If anybody would like to reach out to her and figure out what that deal looks like, here is the link for that. I think it's super valuable. I mean, it's striking to me how such a 5 minutes of the right information can make or break somebody who's starting out. So especially if you're completely cold to this and you don't have much guidance to go off of, I definitely think it's worth at least 30 minutes of your time to get a little bit of insight. And sorry, I do have from Cameron. He had asked how many characters are your typical ad copy. Very pointed questions. Thank you, Cameron.
How many characters are the ad copy being are we talking about the text?
I'm going to let him comment on that. I'm pretty sure this is, just like the description in the video or the description on the ad.
I use a couple. I mean, I don't know if they're referring to the like the hook, the words that are playing on the video, or if it's the text that's typed, like at the bottom of the ad from TikTok.
Yeah, he ends with the yes text. So I believe he's going down into the copy.
Okay. So again, for me, anything I'm doing my research on to see what's working. For other, for comps, it doesn't, and when I say comp, it doesn't have to even be, I mean, I try to make it around something that's similar to what I'm selling, of course, but it doesn't always have to be, because I test a lot. So I'm going to go out and see what's working in general as well, see how other ads are structured. So I'm not very wordy. I don't have a whole lot. It's a very quick caption. There's not a whole lot to it. I don't do like a whole bunch of moving stuff. There's there's certain ways to set up your slideshows, for example, like we were talking about with the transitions and animation. Mine's not very busy. I don't do a whole lot of that, but I also went and looked to see what everybody else is doing and tried to, model mine, in a way is, encouraging other people to buy.
Right. Which, I mean, maybe with it being kind of a calming ad, it gives people a little bit of a break from all the crazy, TikTok stuff going on anyways. So, all right. Well, good deal. Michelle, I appreciate your time very much. I'm sure everybody here does as well. We've gotten a lot of thank yous in the comments. So, I'm going to be monitoring the comments, for the next, sorry.
He wants to know about research.
Yeah.
So what?
Last question.
It can. It's fine. It can be anywhere really. As far as I go to Google, Etsy, Facebook, TikTok. As far as products in general, pricing, things like that. But as far as the ad content, I'm going to platform I'm marketing on is where I'm going to do my ad research for how I want to lay out my ad.
Right. Well, and also there's like SimilarWeb. Once you find one website out there that's sorry, nobody dancing on TikTok anymore. Yeah, sorry. I don't have a TikTok. I don't want a TikTok, so I'm gonna stay off that. But the SimilarWeb, once you find one website that you think is just crushing it, there's websites out there that let you see, basically what other websites are pretty similar to this website, and that kind of helps you broaden your horizons on who all is playing in the game. So, yeah. So we got. What was that?
There's lots of programs that you can purchase. To your point, there's all kinds of them that you can. But you can. I mean, Google Trends is free, like you mentioned. SimilarWeb, that's free. But you don't need to spend a bunch of money. I don't. On all those software.
On the analytics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. We got last question. I promise. Do you post content and products or just products? And if I'm not mistaken, they're more or less product imagery, right? As slideshows. You're not doing, you don't have like a blog post or anything for like home decor stuff and whatever, right?
No, but again, with my ads, I'm being, there's thought that's going into the ads as far as what's working out there. So I'm not just going to throw up a picture of for example, when we transfer the metal art over, there's a very general picture there, right? Not just going to take that and throw it in a slideshow video and expect it to work either. I'm making good content that looks like it's in a real room, so people can envision it in their space, and making it appealing and attractive to the buyer.
Well, I appreciate all your feedback. We got a lot of thank yous in the comments again. I'd love to have you on again. I'm sure everybody else would love to hear how things are progressing for you, especially as we get in closer to Q4. For everybody listening, because I don't think it's been published yet, our cutoff for this Christmas is looking like December 5th. December 5th, that's going to give us about a week and a half worth of production to still get shipped out in time to be delivered to everybody. So everybody be mindful of that. We've essentially got 30 days, 30 days to cram in a lot of stuff. So again, if anybody would like to work with Michelle, I've got the link in the comments, and I'll make sure that gets pinned at the top of the page. And Michelle, again, thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Thanks for everything, all your help. You've been amazing.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. And I'll be monitoring the comments for any questions moving forward. So thank y'all.
Have a good